Kent Sterling, my friend, hired me here. Had a very successful show on 1430. Now he is freelancing it, joining me to discuss. You had an article today, my man, on KentSterling.com. Here's the deal. Let me lay it out for you. Yeah. Indiana they fired Bob Knight. Bob Knight sued Indiana. But after both of those things, IU went back to ask Bob Knight about a statue. So even though they fired him, even though he sued him, after that they went back. I say just put a damn statue up and forget about it. Do you have to ask a guy's permission for a statue?
I don't know if you have to ask the guy's permission, but I think it's decent form. Like if he doesn't want his body or a bronze caricature kind of his body to be erected on the campus, I mean, it seems to be kind of bad form to just go and do it over his objection. That doesn't.
All right.
It's supposed to be an honor for the guy. If the guy says, I do not want the honor, I think you could respect that.
All right. I can respect that, but I know him. Yeah. And I know damn well that he wants a statue. I know damn well that he would love a statue. Nobody can tell me differently, Kent. So it's like, oh, I'm so glad that you stayed after me kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's no doubt he wants a – huh?
Yeah, I think it depends on what it looks like, too. If it's one of those, like, when he was caught maybe with his sweater pulled up over his belly and he got a haircut from felling the day of that game, I don't think that's necessarily the look he wants to represent him in perpetuity. I think you're right. I mean, obviously, you know him great. You know him better than anybody. But a very vain guy who really wants to control as much as he possibly can, and controlling his or Indiana's access to his likeness seems to be something that has really piqued his interest over the years. I mean, you look at all the bronze statues in the foyer at Simon Scott Assembly Hall, and they're Knight anywhere in them, whether it's with the 76 team or anything that characterizes the 81 championship or 87. And so he just kind of wants to be persona non grata, and that's sort of his brand, right?
Yeah, I mean, but he doesn't. He's already been there numerous times. Yeah. He's coming back to live there in a little bit here. So it's all crap. So you call him on his crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all crap. It's all he's that guy. Like that, and he did this with his various wives. He always played games with his wives. You got to come to me and all that stuff that children do. I mean, it's all crap. He's dying for a statue. And there's not a human alive that can tell me he's not. I know he is, 100%. He's dying to be loved. He likes this cat and mouse. But you know what? Screw him. I tell you this. If I were Bob Knight, I wouldn't want the statue because I don't think those statues are very well done personally. I like them. I like who's on them. But I don't think they depict some guys very well. Oh, geez, I'm dying.
No, I couldn't agree more. And you look at the one downtown of John Wooden and all the disembodied legs and torsos.
The hell is that?
I think if they ran that by John Wooden, I think he'd say, well, where are the rest of the boys? Where are the rest of my players? I'd like to know what you've done with them. So, yeah, sometimes they get a little bit arty with those things. And I think if Bob Knight wants a statue, how about we have him carve one himself? He can go ahead and depict himself in the way that he wants to be represented, forever and a day.
Yeah, well, you talk to Fish, he may not know. I mean, seriously. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? Right. I mean, you don't know where he is, and when you listen to those things, and I think that's where I think that you can't do it. I think you just do it. If Indiana University erected a statue of Bob Knight, he would bitch, whine, and moan, and then when the ceremony was over, he would sneak in and gawk at it and go, God, I'm handsome.
He probably
I'm telling you, he would.
That's exactly right. He knows. I think he knows who he is to that program, and I think he knows that all the people involved in all the nonsense are gone. And so what the hell? I've never understood, other than this is who he is now, right? It's who he is and how he markets himself is I am the anti-that guy, and I'm never forgetting. And for all of you who have been done wrong and you never wanted to forget, and maybe you came crawling back, I'm that guy that you can look at. I didn't crawl back. I'll never crawl back. You'll see. And so that's kind of become how he characterizes himself today, right? It's not really a basketball coach anymore. We don't talk about that so much. We talk about whether he's going to come back to Assembly Hall and walk out of the locker room through the tunnel and wave at people, for God's sake.
I'm going to read you. Maybe I sent this to you. I think I did. I don't know. But I want to read you a portion of a letter that I sent to him. And I can't find it all of a sudden. And part of it was boo effing who. You got fired. You know what I mean? That was part of it. Like boo blanking who. Hey, look, Uwe's had this. We guys have had that. And we're sitting here waiting on you. I'm tired of waiting on you. Like, you know what? Be a man. It was a very good letter. I'll read it if I can find it here. I just sent it to a friend of mine. I thought I sent it to you a while back. It was a while back, but anyway, to me, go ahead.
Was that the role that you played when you were there on his staff, that you were that guy who could come to him and say, look, you're out of your mind. This is crazy. Don't do it this way. Did you kind of
Yes, that's all I did, and I got exhausted.
Kind of steer him? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it was exhausting. It was like, all right, here's the start of the letter. Coach and Marianne, I know you don't like me, and I certainly neither respect nor like you.
That's a good opener.
That's a good opener. I won't read you the whole thing. You got fired. Big, and I use the word not effing, but you deserve to get fired. Nobody should be allowed to represent a school like IU given all the stupid S you did, publicly and certainly privately. Nobody cares. I was trying to tell him what an idiot. I said, you should be an icon, a respected figure that elicits nothing but respect and admiration. Instead, you have become a guy that is fading quickly into the sunset. Less and less people care. Look around. Coach Dean Smith died. Tark died. Your contemporaries are either irrelevant or dead. It's a circle of life. Get your ass back to IU. Let the people that love you know how much they care, how much they care, and feel for you. Basically, get your head out of your ass and be the man that you taught us to be. There you go.
That's, you know what? Hopefully he read that.
He didn't. You know what?
It was kind of out of love and respect and a hope that it was going to be a wake-up call. You know what I mean? Sometimes the guy needs a knock in the head to get his brain cells to fire in the right order, and hopefully he took it as that was your intent. Although
you know what he did?
That was your intent. What?
It was my intent, but you know what he did? He called ESPN, and ESPN had a talk with me about that. I'm like,
there's a guy. I'm calling your boss.
Yeah.
You're mean to me. I'm calling the bosses.
Yes. I've had 3 people do that. I mean, I'm calling your boss. I'm like, man, honest to God. It's like, so I'm sitting in this meeting, and my boss, Lee Fitting, hey, Dan, we got to have a talk. Oh, okay, what'd I do? I'm thinking, what the hell did I do? He goes, hey, did you send Coach Knight a letter? I go, yeah. They go, well, he sent the PR department in. I said, well, hey, look. I said, I'll send it out for everybody to see. What do I care? The hell? Yeah, so, yeah, that was his response. His response was to
Well, he read it, and that's a good thing. That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Anyway, well, all right. So you say statue or no statue?
I say if he says no statue, don't do the statue. And I hate if the guy says no and, like after he passes, people decide to go ahead and do it anyway. I don't know. I mean, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that you walk into Assembly Hall and there's all this stuff. There's this guy, and there's Isaiah, and here are these guys. And there's no Bob Knight anywhere. It doesn't make any sense at all. And I know that Fred's reached out to Knight and tried to mend fences in the best way that he could. And Knight has rebuffed all advances and all this stuff. But for the love of God, you can't just – because you were dismissed in a way that you thought was unfair, you can't obliterate 29 years of what you did at that university, good, bad, or indifferent. You just can't do it. So I wish, using your vernacular, which, frankly, when I was on the other station I used way too often. You got to sack up and be a man, understand who you are at that university still, and embrace it, because why the hell not?
That's what I'm saying. I addressed that too. I addressed that too about him getting fired. I do address that in this letter, and it was glorious. It really was. It was just so spectacular. All right, my man. Well, I miss hearing you on my drive home. I hope you're doing well. So you vote no, and your article's very good, and as always, smarter than I am. And I just like having a smarter opinion than me, and I got one. So there you go.
Perfect. Well, I'm right here. Anytime you need, you give me a call.
All right, brother. Thanks.
All right, brother. See you.
All right. That's Kent Sterling.